This week, Grant Gustin finally broke his vow of silence concerning being passed over for The Flash in DC's extended universe. In my opinion, it was the biggest snub since Leonardo DiCaprio and every nomination he's ever had for the Oscars. It's okay, Leo. No one can hurt you now. I'll never let go. This is Comics on TV. Cue my... Welcome to Comics on TV, a weekly discussion about what else but comics on TV. Today, I'm honored to have my amazing guest here. Actress, model, on-air personality, cosplayer, Alicia Bellamy.
Hi.
And there's Ro. So,
it's just Ro.
Just no, Ro. No, Ro, you're
I'm a huge star.
Much,
it's okay.
Yeah.
People will figure it out.
Just Google Ro.
Google Ro.
Just Google.
Ro CB, you'll find out he's one of the most amazing people you'll ever find.
This is all true.
Besides doing our countdowns, he's also kind of our resident Star Wars person, right?
Yep.
And that's perfect because I need you here today. We're gonna talk a little bit about.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Star Wars.
And, we'll go into that. But
right.
Before we even start with that, let's go right into DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, you guys saw the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right off the bat, we were talking earlier, and you were saying how the production value, it was like amazing.
Yes.
You were saying how great it was. Like,
super awesome.
But I'm worried, I'm concerned that it's because it's the pilot. Maybe that may be the problem or the issue with it. That it looks great on the pilot, but then when it comes to the show, it may just falter. That's a big worry of mine, but...
I hope not.
How did you guys like it so far?
Well, in my opinion, with all these CW shows, they always start out strong, and they fall into, but then they eventually fall into their formula,
right?
Over and over. I mean, come on, I love the Flash, but it's really predictable. Green Arrow is really predictable.
It's a comic book TV show,
which is totally fine. That's why I let a lot of things go, especially because it's a comic book show.
Right.
It's a CW show.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was an interesting pilot. I don't know how strong it's going to be, though. I don't know. They got 24 shows scheduled.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's off to a good start, though. I think.
Okay. And what about you?
No,
How are you feeling so far?
I agree with him. I think it's off to a great start, and I definitely am nervous. Like you guys have all said, that it's just gonna turn into shit. And let's hope not, right? Let's hope
not.
not.
Shit the bed. I hope it's gonna actually be good.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. In CW is getting better at making these shows, and this is more world building, I suppose.
Definite.
I don't know what's in store for the cinematic universe. I'm more excited about things like Suicide Squad when it comes to DC.
Yeah.
Right? That's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
But with the CW stuff, there tends to be this too safe environment that they have to create because it's family-friendly TV.
True.
I'm okay with it. I personally give it a pass. I just don't know if it'll stick.
Well, I will say this is the first CW superhero pilot that didn't have a scene with a guy with his shirt off. So that's a good thing.
And that's what it was missing.
It came really close. So Stephen Amell didn't have sleeves in one scene.
True.
But
this is only part one of the pilot, so there's part two. Congratulations.
Oh, so maybe there's going to be a shirt taken off eventually.
Who knows?
Okay.
That can be bad. That guy from freaking Prison Break, may take it off, still have the tattoos on his back.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Down with
It
that.
It can happen.
But no, it was good. I'm enjoying it. I'm giving it a shot. So.
Okay. Is there a character in this whole lineup for the show that maybe you guys feel that's the one that's too much?
For me, I've never been a fan of the Canaries.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
the White Canary, I'll give it a chance because I did like, I don't know the actress's name, but I did like her in the earlier version, episodes of the Green Arrow before she was dead and all that other stuff.
Right.
Spoiler. But so I like her as an actress and everything. I'm not a huge fan of the Canaries, so we'll see how they play out in this world.
I mean, because there are so many. We have the Canary. We have Firestorm. We also have Rip Hunter, who is the guy, the time agent that gets him.
Oh no, it's Rory. He came back as a Time Lord.
Thank you,
He brought his TARDIS.
I said the same thing. He actually,
awesome.
I said the same thing, and everybody's like, nah, forget it.
He has sonic screwdriver and his TARDIS with him. So.
His TARDIS speaks to him. You know,
now we're definitely crossing this over.
Yeah, everything's coming over.
Yeah, okay,
everything's coming over. I mean, we got.
I need me some Amelia Pond.
If she shows up on the show, that would be amazing.
She's my favorite.
If she showed up, that would be great.
What do you think? How many people are going to try and pull off the White Canary after this show takes off?
Well, I may be one of them. So several. Yeah, I mean, as a cosplayer, I was like, look at those costumes. Let's analyze. What can I make? What can I not make?
Yeah.
And I have to just really quick on the costume note. The detail level in that White Canary costume is baller.
Okay, yeah,
Really?
right.
Yeah.
It looks very put together.
We're talking like hours upon hours of sewing. So you're an amazing costume designer. That's all I have to say. But
they do have a television budget behind them on that costume.
They also have a pilot television budget
That's
that we
right,
talked
that's
about,
right.
right?
And
So are the costumes
huge.
going to get shittier as we go through the show?
Oh, wait.
I don't
So
know.
is this pilot budget bigger than normal? Is there some behind the scenes on that?
This one looks like it's actually a whole lot more. I was trying to read up on it as far as the numbers. They didn't reveal them yet, but they're saying that the budget for this one seems to be one of the highest that those producers have ever done.
Uh-huh.
So right now, it's the highest one for a CW superhero show.
So, what is your opinion on this show?
My opinion right now, it's good.
It's
I
good.
like it. It's it satisfies like the whole family viewing. It satisfies the comic book fans, and for people that are just like, well, I know shit about this, but I want to try to get into it. It even satisfies those people as well.
Look, I'm saying a couple of things that might be interpreted as negative, but I say the same things about Flash and Arrow, and I love those shows.
Exactly.
You know, I love those shows. They get a pass.
Yeah, definitely.
I just get worried that because Flash and Arrow, I think, should be, especially Flash, should just be a much bigger show than it is. And this is the budget feels bigger because you have this much bigger cast. You have this ensemble cast.
Right.
It's going to be a lot bigger challenge for this show to get renewed. I don't know.
Really,
I don't know.
I think this season it's going to go through. It's going to actually make it's going to make its mark. And probably even continue on. Like you said, build heavy world building.
Yeah.
And beyond the world building, I think it will actually establish these characters in a brighter light.
I like the bad guys a lot that they brought onto the team. I like that, they brought these more dangerous characters. I really am looking forward to what they can do with those characters. Like this show's called Comics on TV. As far as like picking the right comics to do this world building, I think it's one of the better ones that they could pick to do world building with. But I don't want it to be so family friendly is what I'm getting at.
Well, hopefully it won't.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see it. Yeah, that is the danger of the CW.
Yeah,
That's always a worry.
Sadly.
That's always a worry.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll be able to venture off and kind of step away a little bit. I mean, they're already killing people in the very first episode, and that's something usually it takes a little time to do. So maybe they're taking a turn that may even be a whole lot better than what we're used to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something we can at least hope for. Expectations when it comes to it. What do you guys at least want to see happen on the show?
I'm not too familiar with this storyline from this comic book series, but I'd like to see it get a little darker. I mean, this scenario is this apocalyptic scenario. The bad guy, Vandal Savage. A little bit of problem with the name, but of course it is a comic book show, and it's based on, and it works in the comics and whatnot, and those are comic book names, and I'm pretty stoked that they're true to things like that, that they interpret those kinds of things literally. They don't try to do like what they would in the 70s where they change Bruce and Brian Banner's name around just so it sounds better for TV,
Right.
So, long story short, I'd like to see it get darker. I would like to see people die. I don't know if they're going to stick strictly to the comic book storyline, but I'd like to see them with a big cast like this do a little bit more dangerous storytelling.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see.
I'm with him on that 100%. And that's, and like we said, once again, that's the fear of it being on the CW, is that you don't want it to be too family friendly, but you also want more people to get into shows like this so that more shows like this can get made. But it's just, I want to see dark, I want to see death, I want to see wow, I'm sad once again. Woo, I should take it down a level. That's why I'm kind of excited for Suicide Squad, like we were talking about, because it just feels so grungy, and it feels how a comic book would be in real life, And that's what I kind of want to see from the show, and I really hope it brings that.
Well, most likely, I mean, hopefully we'll get somewhere close to it. But until then, let's talk about something that actually has truly done a 180 when it came to being dark and getting even more, which is why you're here today. Star Wars Rebels.
Okay, yeah.
Now, right off the bat, Season 2 starts off darker.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying Season 2 is like the show's Empire.
Right.
Right? And as far as how dark it's getting and things of that nature.
But it's going to be dark just by the general nature of the timeline, right? Because all Jedi, because of Order 66, I mean, they have to be dead, right? So if you're a Jedi, you're not exactly roaming around openly. You're living in the back alleys, in the dark outer rim of the universe.
Right.
So it's gonna have to be dark if they want to stay true to the timeline. And I think because Clone Wars wasn't afraid to do push boundaries as far as an animated kids show goes.
True.
I think they are now they've had their fluffy first season, right? They introduced some new characters, awesome characters like Sabine Wren.
Yeah.
To me it's like now they have, Star Wars is introducing a bunch of strong new female characters, which they've only ever had one.
Yeah,
Princess
exactly.
Leia, right? But now they've got Sabine Wren, they got Rey, awesome characters. So now we did some world building and some character introductions in season 1. Now it's time to get dark, because these stories need to lead into A New Hope, they need to lead into Rogue One, and these all go to a dark places.
Well, from what I know that this is taking place where somehow, in some way, it will finally getting close to the timeline of Rogue One.
Right.
Now, between now and then, from what I understand, a lot needs to happen as far as the climate of what's happening in the universe during that time for them to get to that point.
Well, there's one event. There's one event in particular, and that's Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
When Luke Skywalker is born or brought into the world and meets Obi-Wan Kenobi, at that point in time, the only Jedi alive, and Yoda, as we see through Rebels, they've established through Rebels, Yoda is in Force contact with all of the Force, all of the Jedi in the universe. I mean, he's made connections to Ezra and to Ahsoka, and I don't know if I can't remember if he actually connected with Ahsoka, but Kanan.
Yeah.
So he's aware of all the Jedi living, okay? There's not supposed to be any Jedi by the time we get to Empire Strikes Back. Everyone has to be dead.
But do you think that the classification of what a Jedi is going to change as far as in Yoda's mind by that time frame? Maybe they don't have to be dead.
There's a lot of talk about gray Jedi and exile and things like that. I don't know. They could play it safe like that. Ahsoka Tano has to die. She just does. She has to die.
Dark.
That's death for both of you.
Dark.
She does.
All the time.
I mean, and we've only seen one episode in the mid-season. This new mid-season trailer that everyone is talking about is super dark. You see the return of Darth kneeling before Darth Maul, saying, and as Maul says, "Call me old master." We see him getting angry. We saw it in the last episode, the mid-season finale, where he was just really angry and fighting with aggression the way a Sith would, So there's a lot of rumors about who Benicio del Toro is going to be in episode 8, that he's possibly playing a Sith Inquisitor named Ezra. Is that true or not? I don't know. Boom. Bombshell.
Right? Exactly.
Okay. So it has to. If they want to keep Rebels canon, and Star Wars fans are really aggressive about things being canon and being taken out of context the wrong way, they have to stay on target with what they said, which is the 6 movies, now 7, are canon. Clone Wars is canon, and these novels are canon.
Right.
So this set of novels. So if you're taking all of that stuff into consideration, this is where it has to go.
Okay, I mean that makes sense, and I definitely get that.
I mean it, man. I mean it.
Angry Star Wars fan. Canon.
So expectations for both of you, as far as this show and what's to come from it, either now all the way till when they finally end it. What do you guys think is going to be a big cornerstone of the show?
They can keep going with Rebels You know, we can have 5, 6, 7 seasons and never see the end of these storylines when they are supposed to die. I personally hope we only get 4 or 5 seasons and we see the end of this particular storyline, Ezra Bridger's youth and his journey into the Force. I hope we see the end of it. I hope we don't get more than 5 seasons of Rebels. That's what I would like.
Interesting. Why do you feel like any more than that would be too much?
I think any more than that, then they're just doing a lot of filler to keep the characters alive and selling merchandise, which is not out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
I mean, it is a Disney property, right?
Sure.
We're seeing that Disney, like, even by rescheduling the release of Episode 8, they are very marketing aware of how they want to do things, right?
Exactly.
So I'd never put that past them. But personally, I think the storyline has to end around season 5 or let's say 6 at the most.
Yeah.
That's pushing it because we're talking about 24 episode seasons, right?
Yeah.
So
That's a lot of time. What about you, as far as expectations?
I mean, I kind of agree with him. Like, I don't want to see a lot of filler crap, right?
Okay,
like,
right.
I'm super excited about the main storyline
Right.
and you know, Rogue One that's coming soon. God, am I excited for Episode 8? But like, I'm like, is it now?
Yeah.
I want it now. So yeah, I agree with him. I want to see Ezra's youth, and I want to see that get finalized, and I want to see what's gonna happen. Yeah, like it's kind of like I just want it to happen. Like, it just needs to happen and be done.
Personally, myself, I want to see Ezra, like you said, go through it all, but I want to see Ezra switch over to be a Sith.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A Sith, not maybe a Sith Lord, but, you know, over to
Dark
a Sith
Side.
or something
Yeah.
like that, or maybe even an Inquisitor. And I want to see Kanan's death. I want it to be horrible. I want to actually...
Now who's talking about death?
I want tears out of me when Kanan dies.
Yeah.
I want Kanan's death.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I think will be the one thing, the catalyst that switches.
he's a deep character, and you don't realize it till you start reading some of the canon materials, like the comic book and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
He's conflicted.
Oh man.
And he's a deep character, and I think he'll do anything to save Ezra at this point in time. So his death could happen. He could be one of the Jedi who just goes off into exile, which he's done before.
Exactly.
That could happen. For me, the scene of Anakin Skywalker, like them watching footage of Anakin Skywalker, and hearing Ahsoka saying he was the greatest or whatever, you know what she was saying, and I just see the ghost of Anakin just being a haunting presence for Ahsoka. She's gonna have a really difficult storyline, and we know. I mean, Dave Filoni has already said there's a duel. It has to that everybody wants to see. He was referring to Ahsoka Tano and Darth Vader. He said there's a duel that has to happen by the end of this season.
Right.
He was talking about that. I don't know if it's the only duel. They might have to. Maybe they call it a draw. She escapes and they do it again.
Stop right there. I can't. If you
can't.
keep going into it, I'll forget it. It's way too much for me. In fact, no.
So
that's it.
I just kind of feel like, there's too many Jedi right now.
Right. Okay. Then that may be the case, and that may be something that they're going to look into.
I want to see that duel. I want to see.
I want to see it, but if you keep going into it, I'm going to want to know too much more than I can't even hold into right now. So right that, I'm thinking we're just going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. I know you guys had other things to do, but you chose to still show here, and that's what's important to me. All right. So
I just did it because I like being on camera and
of course.
Yeah, he's here for him.
I'm here for
Not for Daniel.
I'm here for the camera time.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been great. Thanks for tuning in to Comics on TV, and remember, every great host has an even better sign-off. Good night, guys.
The fuck was that?
So that's it for this week. Make sure to tune in for next week, and more guests that we'll talk about Comics on TV. Stop it, you two. Stop it. Stop. No. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to keep up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture. Goodbye and good night, guys.